So what's coming up on the channel in 2016? That is the purpose of this video. I've made a few notes for myself just so I don't waffle on too much. But Old Alan's progression. Down here, I'm intending to put what I'm going to call, for the time being at least, a powwow hut. That's going to be built from timber, as everything is down here really. A circular henge with a reciprocal frame roof on top, which allows for a hole in the centre. It's a self-supporting roof structure and allows for a hole in the centre, circular hole. Once that's all covered over, apart from the central hole obviously, you will get a permanently dry site underneath, which can be made comfortable. The walls can be infilled in between the henge uprights, and it will make a nice hut place to have a fire, have a sit down, hence the name powwow. And if people wanted to, they could camp in it. They could stay overnight. That is going to be where Lee always pitches his tent, so that will become Lee's new home from home as well. Another thing is the Isle of Wight round island cycle with Matt Hill that I'm going to do. That's going to be hopefully springtime camping trip. The Isle of Wight, the cycle ride around the Isle of Wight is only 62 miles, so it's easily doable in a day, very easily. But that's not the objective of this. The objective of this is to slow down a bit, take some time, enjoy the thing, and do it over a couple of days. So just sort of maybe 40 miles the first day, 20 miles the second, or something around about like that, depending on where camping opportunities are. Other things, canoeing. Many years ago, and I'm going back before I had a canoe, I had a kayak. I started kayaking down the Thames, and I started at Lechlade, and over the course of 3 days got down to Wallingford. That then sort of sat on the back burner for a couple of years because of various things, and I actually sold that kayak. I then bought the canoe, and I picked up the trip again from there and did a couple of days down, and I had Wilma at the time, just when she was just a little puppy. We did that together, and that actually appears on YouTube. That's around about the time I started filming things for YouTube. Prior to that, and with sort of like separate day trips, I've actually got down as far as Bray, just south of the M4, effectively on the Thames. And I at some point will need to carry on down to Teddington Lock. It was always my intention to do the whole of the non-tidal section of the Thames. It bothered me intensely that I've not done the little bit that you could do from Cricklade to Lechlade, but as you will see if you've seen my videos, I've done that bit. So that's on there, Cricklade to Lechlade. Look that one up, that's quite a good video, that one actually. It's a nice one to watch. So that's filled in that blank, and then all I've got to do now is to say just past Bray on the Thames down to, or just past the motorway, down to Teddington Lock, which is, it's going to take another few days, probably another 2 or 3 days, dependent on river flow, etc, etc. So I'd like to try and get that done this year, get that finished off if I can. So that may well come up. Also with the canoeing, Lee Robinson, he wants to do a trip down the River Wye, and he went up there last year and sort of scoped it out, and he's hoping to do the whole of the Wye in a week's trip. So I mean, that would be great if we could do that, because that would introduce elements of white water, and you know, it's a much wilder river. There's no locks on it, there's no flow control as such. It's a wild river. and so you don't get the big boats and things like that. You just got, you know, other canoeists and things like that. I'm sure there will be some overnighters down at Old Allen's. I've got you know, people I've invited in the past I'd like to invite down again. Some people that haven't been able to make it, maybe I'll have another thing whereby I can invite down, you know, a competition winner again maybe, or something. I don't know, but there's bound to be some overnight camping down here. Wilma's obviously spotted something out there, so I think that'll do for the nattering, and we're going to go and check out the state of the woodland in this wind. Turbine is going to move. We're going to put that out in the field because whilst it's working now, that's because there's no leaves on the trees, and we've got sort of like good solid 25-28 mile an hour wind today, with gusts of up to sort of about 40-45 down where we are. So that's why it's working. It needs to work in much lower wind speeds than that, and the only way we'll do that is by moving it further away. So at some point this will all get redone around here, but that'll be quite good in a way because it'll give us more space around the actual sort of hut area. So there's a calm in the woods. Just this small little bit of woodland makes such a difference to the air and wind levels. I can stand here and there's a breeze, you know, and out on the road on the bike you can, you know, you can't do 10 mile an hour against it. The beehives are still upright, which is great. I came down here the other day and checked on them, and it was a mild day, and they were actually flying. So I imagine today they're probably not. I don't know. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's a bit of activity up front of the hive, but nothing major. Wilma, are the woods okay? Yeah? Good girl.